everyone, it's Ayana here, and welcome to the Poetry Center. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a Q&A where people have sent me in questions and or advice, and I'm going to be answering them today. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the first question is actually two questions that I combined because they are similar. When you are trying to fight off a panic attack and people won't stop talking to you, how do you make them without being rude? And also, how do you help yourself through an anxiety attack? And first off, I am not a mental health professional, and I encourage those who are struggling, if you can, to seek one out. So, all the advice I'm going to be giving today that involves mental health, I'm not a professional. If you need help, please make sure that you seek one out. This is strictly in my opinion, and sometimes also through my own experience, I've gathered this advice. Okay? So to answer the question, what do you do when you're fighting off a panic attack and there are people around you are just talking and you want them to tell them to stop without being rude? I honestly would utilize those people around you. I know it's kind of hard when you have a panic attack to get people's attention, but you try to do signals or something, tap them on the shoulder, let them know that you are having a panic attack somehow, and let them help you. It's very important to utilize as much support as possible. So instead of going through the panic attack alone, you can utilize those people who are around you, even though they're talking. Get them to stop and utilize that support system and let them help you through the panic attack. To help yourself through a panic attack, you can do breathing exercises, taking 3 deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out slowly. You can also drink water, that helps. And you can also try to move around, stand up. I know when I had my own panic attacks, trying to stand up, I know you kind of felt very lightheaded, well, at least I felt very lightheaded, and you felt like you might pass out or something. Try to move around because that would help you, and just to get the blood flowing and the signals to your brain, and just try to get you moving. So drink the water, do the breathing exercises, and try to move around. So that's one way you can help yourself through the panic attack and to utilize support. And that brings me to my next question, which is, how do you help someone through a panic attack? Well, as I said before, you are a really great support system. So I know when I had my first panic attack, and actually I only had 2 panic attacks in my lifetime, and when I had them, I was by myself. I didn't have anyone to help me. And what I would have liked someone to do, if they were there to help me, is to fetch me water, because I know when you're going through the panic attack, it's just a struggle and just such daunting task just to pour yourself some water, because you're just going through it, and it's just really hard to do that task. So to get that person some water, also talk them through it, let them know that, keep them grounded, let them know their surroundings, help them name out surroundings, like, you are in, what room are you in, what color shirt are you wearing, what color shirt am I wearing, how many fingers am I holding up, things like that. Talk them through it, let them know that they are safe, that they are surrounded by someone who cares about them, and that they are not alone. And also, if the panic attack is, is starting to get worse, if you know that that person takes medication for panic attacks, help them get their medication and help them take the medication. Also, call the therapist for them. If you know that they're seeing a mental health professional, it would be great if you can dial the number for them, or call a hotline if they're not seeing a therapist, so you can have someone guide you through the person having a panic attack that can help you help that person. Okay, so that's my advice on panic attacks and how to help someone and how to help yourself. Question number 3. Do you plan on writing any more books besides An Old Teen? I do, actually. Besides An Old Teen, I'm writing currently 2 books. I'm writing my second book, which is called The Recovery Process, Recovery from Disordered Eating and Depression. And that book is a collection of journal entries that I've written over my lifetime. And I'm going to be collecting them and putting them into a published book. So I'm super excited. It's coming along really great. The book is set to be released January 2017, and I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a really great book, and it's going to help people who are struggling with mental health, let them not feel so alone, and to give them a sense of guidance as well. And it will also help people who are outside of the mental health world and want to help someone struggling with mental health or just want to get a bit of a clarity and understanding, to give them more of an understanding of what's going on with people who are struggling with depression and struggling with disordered eating, especially disordered eating, because I feel like disordered eating is not talked about enough. We do talk about eating disorders, but we don't really talk about disordered eating. And I know that's kind of like disordered eating is really just eating disorder backwards, but disordered eating is a mental illness, and disordered eating is a struggle. It's a lower grade eating disorder. Disordered eating is a gateway to an eating disorder. If you do not take care of disordered eating and get treatment for disordered eating, it can lead into a more severe form of an eating disorder. So yeah, it's really important, and I think I don't really read too many books about disordered eating, about the before the eating disorder. What are the symptoms and the struggles that happen before you dive into an eating disorder? What does that look like? And I don't feel like there's many books like that. I actually did read a book by Jenny Schaefer that happened. Sorry, I'm just looking at to see if there's any more questions coming in. So see me looking down at my phone. But I read a book about Jenny Schaefer, by Jenny Schaefer, and she did touch on disordered eating and talked about that gateway to an eating disorder. So she talked about that. So that was pretty cool. That was really the first author that I ever read who really talked about disordered eating. So I would like to dive in more and give more details on it and more information on it for people who are struggling, because I want people to know that you don't need to develop an eating disorder to seek help, and you don't need to develop an eating disorder to be seen. Your struggles are valid. So before we get to that point, let's get help. Early prevention is important, and early prevention is possible. What is the message you want readers to take away from your book, An Old Teen? The message that I want people to take away from An Old Teen is that you are not alone. That's basically the gist of An Old Teen, is that you are not alone. No matter what you're struggling with, if you're struggling with mental illness, if you're struggling with grief, if you're struggling with going through life and just not knowing who you are, if you're struggling with low self-esteem, you are not alone. There are people out there going through the same thing as you, and we need to find each other. And An Old Teen, in a way, when people read the book, I feel like it sparks a community. Let you know that, wow, there are other people out there who are going through the same thing as me, and that there's a whole host of people going through the same thing as me. So it kind of brings you to community. An Old Teen is a community. And that's why I started the Poetry Center, because this is a place where you can voice your opinions. This is a place where you can voice your problems and your struggles, and to seek help. I'm here to help. I love you guys. I think you're super important. And I started the Poetry Center because I want to build a community. And I hope that I'm accomplishing that goal. So I wrote an team to spark a community and to let people know that they are not alone and that their struggles are valid. And last question, which is another mental health question. Do you have any advice for people with schizophrenia? So again, I am not a mental health professional, and I encourage those who are struggling with a mental illness and are struggling with schizophrenia to seek one out if possible. And my advice to you and to all people suffering with mental illness is that you are not crazy, you are not alone, and it will get better. Remember to take your medication and when needed, and to be open in therapy, because that's going to save your life. With the combination of medication, the combination of and therapy, you will get better, and slowly over time things will start to look up and to feel much brighter. I know mental illness is hard and I know it's scary, but you are worth living and deserve to get better. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart when I say that. I know how we hear that so often, it will get better and you deserve to get better, but it is so true. It's so true. And I know schizophrenia is a very scary mental illness, but with medication, with therapy, with seeking out support, you can do this. You can get better. I'm telling you right now from experience. I don't suffer with schizophrenia, but I am telling you right now from a person who struggles with mental illness, you can do this. And there are other people out there who are struggling with the same thing as you. You are definitely not alone. You're definitely not crazy. You can get through this. And it's okay to have this mental illness. There's nothing wrong with you for having this mental illness. You are so strong. You are so strong for reaching out for help. You're so strong for even asking me that question today. So I commend you for keeping on every day. And I urge you to keep on every day, to keep going every day. I know it's hard, I know it's scary, but you have the strength to keep going. Okay, guys. I love talking with you guys. I love doing Q&As with you because it gives me a chance to share more of who I am, and it gives me a chance to get to know you even more. So this was fun, and I love you guys. I know we're talking about serious topics. I tried to mix it up between talking about my book and talking about mental illness, but they're both passions of mine, talking about mental health and talking about my book. So I love speaking with you guys today. I hope you have a wonderful day and stay strong. I love you guys so much. Bye bye.